Dear Aubrey, for Christmas I would like a wife, and I would like for her to be gorgeous and funny and kind and
Right.
witty and move at my pace and what else? Healthy. Anyway, how do we make that happen by Christmas? Okay,
Yeah.
ready, go.
Yeah. Right.
You're southern lesbian, traveling the globe again from London to California with a little bit of Carolina.
There she is.
Hey.
Hi. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to your Southern Lesbian. I am Ashley, and we have a treat for you today. With me is Aubrey Kapree. Yay. Let me read y'all this about Aubrey. Y'all don't even know what you're about to be in store for here. This is so exciting. So, Aubrey Kapree is an LA-based intuitive coach, spiritual guide, and quantum life mentor. She says, I blend deep soul wisdom with practical transformation to help people break through fear, reclaim their power, and align with their highest timeline. My journey began in childhood where I experienced unusual phenomena that hinted at my intuitive gifts. Those gifts expanded dramatically after giving birth to my son 21 years ago, opening the door to an explosion of insight and connection. Over the years, a series of profound spiritual awakenings inspired me to dedicate my life to guiding others through their own breakthroughs, weaving intuition, astrology, and conscious coaching into lasting, life-changing transformation. You deal with the root cause, so the same patterns don't just come back wearing a new disguise. We love that, and we talk about that here
Yeah.
frequently. So,
Awesome.
y'all, I've worked with Aubrey several times, and she is very talented and very intuitive, and I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for coming.
Yay. Thank you for having me. This is super exciting.
Yay, yay. So this crowd is no strange to the woo-woo. I mean, I drop it on them here and there. I don't know if they've gone this
Right.
far yet, so this is a treat today.
We're gonna go super woo-woo today.
Yeah. And if I know anything about this crowd, the first thing they're going to want to know is, Dear Aubrey, for Christmas I would like a wife, and I would like for her to be gorgeous and funny and kind and
Right.
witty and move at my pace and what else? Healthy. Anyway, how do we make that
Yeah,
happen
all
by
of the above,
Christmas?
right?
How do we make that happen by
Yeah.
Christmas? Okay, ready, go.
Yeah. Right. I wish I had a magic wand that
Damn
could just make it
it.
happen.
Well, I'll keep asking people, and maybe somebody will be able to answer it for me. But no, seriously,
All
I mean,
right.
I know that you and I've done personal sessions with Aubrey, and I can tell y'all that she really is the real deal, y'all. And when she talks about removing blocks, and today specifically, we're going to talk about romantic relationships, removing triggers, and how relationships are a part of the healing process. So, how do you feel like? Well, first of all, can you tell me a little bit about your gifts, your clairs? Do tell.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it's been a progressive journey. I basically kind of started my journey when I first had my son, which was like 22 years now. It's crazy. I mean, granted, I was gifted before that. It's just that's when the gifts came online. And then I had a spiritual awakening in 2020, and then I ended up discovering like a whole new set of gifts that I didn't even know I was capable of.
Yeah.
So
Like what?
yeah. So what I feel like I've been really tapping into as of recently is channeling. So I'm able to get direct information and wisdom and messages from spirit or spirit guides or other types of beings that like to deliver me like clear understanding. And so that has been kind of like my MO when working with people as of recently, just like hearing the messages and relaying that back to people. But I'm also clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant. I actually do have all the clairs. Sometimes that could be very overwhelming because I can sense and pull everything.
You are super
So granted,
sensitive.
yeah, and it's like a blessing and a curse because I could help so many people with my gifts, but at the same time, with all of the crazy that's been going on in the world, it knocks me on my
I
ass pretty
bet.
much daily.
Well, let's explain to
So,
people because not everybody here knows. I mean, there's a lot of
yeah,
people here are just a bunch of lesbians. They don't know all the woo-woo talk. So,
right,
clairsentient means you feel everything, right?
right,
You're super
right.
sensitive and you feel energy. Clairvoyant,
Yeah.
you actually see
Hmm.
things, right?
See things.
And clairaudient is you hear.
You
And what
hear it.
what was the
Yeah.
other
So
one you
that would
mentioned?
be like
Oh, tell me, go ahead.
Claircognizant.
Claircognizant.
So, yeah, so that is the ability to have futuristic insight.
Ooh.
So, like, I could see the future, basically.
And you don't see
Yeah,
my
and
wife looking like that at Christmas with me?
I mean, I
Don't
could
answer
tap
that.
into it. I don't know if you're going to be able to pull this off at Christmas. I'm just going to be real with you.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'm just teasing. Okay, so that's a lot of big feelings. Do you have any
Yeah.
idea, like you just have always had these and then they've sort of grown based on different experiences? I mean, obviously birthing your child, it's like women are
Right.
literally like portals, right?
Or
I feel
portals.
like it's like
Exactly.
you birth a human out of your portal.
That's right. That's
And
right. I definitely birthed a human out of my portal.
yes, yes. And so some gifts came online, and you feel like it's gotten
Yeah.
stronger even more so lately, huh? That's really
Absolutely.
fascinating.
I think a lot of it had to do with like my own inner work. So the more healing that I did within myself, which we'll kind of talk about some of the methods that I've personally been able to use in order to clear a lot of this density, trauma, etc., that I've, carried with me for many years. But I've noticed that with the inner work that I've been doing, it's been able to help me become more fine-tuned to my gifts. So I feel like I've been much more accurate and much more tapped in
Got
because
it.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to tell me what it was, but did you grow up with some trauma as well? Because raise your hand if you had trauma. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
here. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, you're in the
Yeah.
right spot.
Yeah. We're homies.
Yeah. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that as to how this past trauma and removing these blocks specifically can relate to helping you have better relationships and romantic relationships.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like because I've been very observant when it comes to like the whole relationship topic that has been also coming up over the past few years. And it feels like it's much more of a prevalent topic because we're starting to see almost kind of like a divide right now. And I know that this is mostly for lesbians, but like as far as like straight couples, especially, there's like this war between man and woman, and it's like, oh, all men suck, and the men are like, all women suck. And the reason for that, it's related to our inner wounds.
I think it
It's
can be said
related,
of the masculine and feminine and the right. I mean, there
right,
are a
the
lot of women
energy.
that carry that masculine
Yeah,
energy too.
absolutely, absolutely. And
Yeah.
that applies very similarly too. It's like either way it goes, the reason why we are not blending, I guess that would be the best way to use it, is because of our inner wounds. And because what happens is that we need to understand that we are projectors of our own reality. And that is been proven through quantum mechanics, is that we actually are able to create our reality based off of perception. The funny thing is that our reality is also based off of what we internalize. So if we are wounded based off of trauma and we have gone through like multiple difficulties, especially when it comes to relationships, our outer world, that is going to be reflecting back to us. So if you don't heal yourself, you're going to end up noticing that you are attracting the same pattern of person over and over and over again. So
Been
that's
there
why so many, right.
a few,
That's why so many
five
people
or
are
20
also,
times.
right. Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, we've all gone through that, like myself personally.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing in the collective right now is the inability to face understanding that we are wounded and that in order to attract the ideal partner, we must heal ourselves first. We must be the person we want. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes, we talk
So,
about that here. We do talk about how we're walking
yeah.
radio antennas and
Mhm.
emitting our own, field, if you will, of
Right, right. So, I mean, like if I were to put myself in the mind of a lesbian, right? Like,
Aubrey's not a lesbian. Y'all calm down. She's just playing
I'm
one on
sorry.
TV today.
I mean, I've had experiences,
Oh,
but
oh, well, go on then. Don't let us stop you.
I'm not like a super stranger, but
Carry on.
I can only imagine because, like, yeah, being like more in a feminine energy, and again, the polarity, right? Some women are more masculine in energy, some
Totally.
women are more feminine energy. So the same goes. It's about that polarity. And I'm pretty sure that even for a lot of lesbians, they're finding it difficult to connect to other women on a deeper, more intimate level. Again, due to fear, due to trauma, due to the lack of taking personal responsibility for the inner wounding. Because a lot of times people want to project their own shit onto other people, and say, oh, they are the reason why I am like this, rather than saying, okay, I need to look at this deeper and find out why I keep attracting these types of people over and over again,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
It's
And
it's radical self-responsibility.
absolutely. And I think that there are a lot of people walking around that don't even realize that they've had trauma. I think that you just grow up thinking that your household and your childhood was normal,
Right,
and
right.
these experiences kind of knock you on your ass through life, over and over again. And you start to go, wait a minute, I'm not seeing this the way they're seeing it again and again and again.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that is the number one thing. And I could speak for myself because I've been on a journey with a person in my life. And in the woo-woo world, this person would be considered a twin flame. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys may have heard of that term. But they're probably one of the most challenging relationships you could go through because they mirror you exactly to a T. So basically, they are your counterpart, but just like in, either the feminine or masculine energy. So he is my masculine energy, and he has basically projected every wound that I have
Mm-hmm.
been carrying for so long, making me look at what I needed to heal so that way I could upgrade myself in order to attract the love that I deserve.
Right.
Um, but going through relationships like that, but even like karmic relationships, which we could talk about. But again, all of our partnerships are mirror aspects of self, and they are to get us to see what we need to look at deeper within ourselves.
Right. And I mean, I've been in a relationship, as you know, that also brought
Hmm.
up that mirror aspect to it.
Right.
And it's wild when it happens because literally, like,
Hmm.
everything that I was thinking and feeling, I was hearing back at me, and
Yeah,
it was like, what do you mean that's what you feel? That's what I feel.
I know.
It was bizarre. It was really bizarre. And I've never had that before
Right.
in a
Yeah.
relationship. So it's very interesting because you're right. It brings these things to the surface that you
Hmm.
have to deal with, you have to look at,
For sure.
which is a good
Yeah. And
thing,
again,
even though it's painful as
yeah.
hell. Because if it's coming up,
Oh,
then
yeah.
obviously that's something that needs to be cleared, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's so important instead of blaming the other person for how bad they are, or how toxic they are, or that's not necessarily dismissing their toxic behavior. But again, if you were to look at it from a lens of like the reason why they are toxic is because they're revealing to me where I need to better set my boundaries, where I need to love myself more, so that way I don't attract this kind of behavior again,
Right.
because we're so easy blaming the other person for how they hurt us. But not to say that it's your fault, but again, there are teachers. They're just mirroring back to us and saying, "Hey, you got to love yourself more. You need to
Well, they're
set
not
more
actually saying that in
boundaries."
the moment.
Right. Or kind of like,
They're saying it
just
in
like
different words, Aubrey.
right, right, exactly. But that's the gist of it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, totally. But
yeah.
here's something I would love for you to answer too is sometimes, like, how do you know the difference in your own trauma and
Mhm.
your healthy intuition that you should be listening to? You know what I mean? Like when you're getting these
Yeah.
feelings and you're in the thick of it with someone and you haven't done all of this healing work and how do you
Mhm.
know which way you're supposed to respond, or do you just go for it, let it blow up and see what happens?
So I like to, I mean, obviously the word that a lot of people use is trigger, right? So
Yes.
obviously a lot of people don't like to be triggered. And a lot of people these days actively avoid trying to be triggered because it makes them feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I try to tell people is that triggers are our friends. Triggers are our biggest teachers. And
Yeah.
granted, I know a lot of people don't like to feel uncomfortable. They don't like to feel invalid. They don't like to feel wrong. But at the same time, when we have a visceral response to a situation that is making us feel a certain way, that is revealing to us what needs to be healed within ourselves. So for example, let's say your girlfriend is out having fun with her friends. You text them and she doesn't text back for a couple hours. Meanwhile, you are going through your head, "Oh my God, she's cheating on me. Oh my God, there's like she's up to something, or she doesn't love me, or she's going to break up with me." Oftentimes, those inner wounds will resurface as far as like these limited thought belief systems that are not even true. And so even like a simple thing as far as somebody avoiding you or not responding to you or whatever could bring up so much. So that is up to us for us to look at and be like, okay, I got to look at this logically. Has this person done anything else to make me feel this way? Or what is this bringing up for me on a deeper level? Because oftentimes, if you're thinking, okay, this person's probably cheating on me, or they're probably doing something effed up behind my back, we have to kind of go down the line and see where that trigger originated from. And usually it stems from our family, our
Mm-hmm.
parents, and how they failed to show up for us. The fact that we may have felt abandoned by one of our family members or even all of them. And then that relationship pattern just continues down the line. So we can heal that by just having that radical self-awareness, being like, okay, I was cheated on before, and that was very hurtful. That doesn't necessarily mean that your future partner or your current partner is doing the same thing. However, if they are, again, that's just a pattern that's repeating itself for you to also take radical personal responsibility and making sure that you are healing yourself, making sure that you are loving yourself to the fullest, so that way we are not attracting those partnerships again.
Well said. Well, good night, y'all. No, just kidding. No, let's break that down for a second. So oftentimes, as you said, I know we've talked about this too, is that a lot of this comes from family and childhood. And as much as you love your parents, y'all, and I certainly love my mom, but it's a complicated relationship, and both things can be true at the same time. And sometimes it's even harder to recognize if you have a great relationship with your family and there's been these little things that you didn't recognize growing up. And you know what I mean? So recognizing these things, sometimes they don't show up until a romantic partner mirrors them back to you. And you go, now, wait a minute, this feels familiar. But I mean, it took me, well, I'm, 54 years old today, but not on this day. But you know what I mean? Like it took me a long time to put two and two together and start working with a life coach and reading books and listening to podcasts and just doing that deep dive to understand the connection there, because there is a big one. And I feel in the lesbian community, especially, I feel like there's certain behaviors that are just so normal out there now, that people don't even realize they're acting out of trauma and they're perpetuating these cycles. And it's like, I just want to put so many people in front of you and let you have sessions with them. Because what she's saying, y'all, is if you're sitting home worried about your girlfriend that hasn't texted you back, that shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be sitting around worried about her. That is a trigger that was caused by something else. And you need to do the deep dive as to why do I get upset by these things? What is causing this? What happened? Okay, that might have happened to little Ashley, and maybe that's what I'm feeling again now. But now I'm 50 today years old and I've got me, and that's
Mhm.
probably not what's happening. And if it is what's happening,
Right.
like you said, well, then you need to do the adult thing and have a very hard conversation and make some hard choices, maybe. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
those
and
triggers. Woof.
transparency is so, oh yeah. Transparency, communication, and honesty are also so fundamental to all relationships.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say, for example, you have that trigger. Let's say your girlfriend was out, again, they didn't respond for a couple hours. They come home. It's important for you to open that discussion and be open and vulnerable and be like, look, you didn't text for a couple hours, not to say that that's your fault, but like this is the way that made me feel, so that way next time your partner could be more cognizant about your communication style and what it is that you need in order to feel safe and secure within the relationship.
Amen.
So, you could work with your partner even if you are wounded, right? Like if you are with a loving, committed partner who cares about you, that person is going to want to work with you to make sure that you do feel safe in your relationship. That is something that you do need to keep in mind because if you don't feel like you could be open with your partner, that is an immediate red flag. That is a person that you shouldn't even be with because, a partnership is about mutual reciprocity. It's about connection. It's about openness and vulnerability. So, you could heal through your partnership and being like, look, this is my communication style. This is how I'm going to feel more secure in our relationship and work together on that, you know?
Absolutely. And having had both kinds of partners, ones who are
Hmm.
out there being shady, and let me
Right.
tell you, it's just like a breath of fresh air when you're with someone who checks in. And they don't
Yeah.
even have to do it regularly, but if they know that they're going out
Mhm.
to the club with, a bunch of hot single women and with their
Right.
friends, like it's just the respectful, thoughtful thing to do, I think,
Yeah,
to check in, or at
absolutely.
least, and when you're leaving there, check in and just let your partner hear your voice so that she doesn't worry. But
Yeah.
my last partner was very good about that, and I really appreciated
Mm.
that. It was just like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I can relax in this. She's not going to do
Yeah,
anything stupid, but
right.
and God forbid alcohol's in the mix too, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah. Yeah.
trying to have any kind of conversation about this stuff with is hard enough on its own if you're feeling triggered about anything, but God forbid you've had
Hmm.
a glass of wine or two or five, it's
Right.
like things can escalate
Yeah,
very quickly.
this is true.
Yeah.
That's also an important thing to consider with your partner. If like they act like a different person while they're drunk, I don't know, maybe
I
maybe look at
mean,
that a little deeper because you know how
right.
like alcohol reveals almost like your true personality,
Oh, it revealed
like,
mine quite a bit. And they
oh
know I don't drink anymore, but
yeah,
I mean, I had a lot of fun. But
sure.
yeah. Oh, so okay, so let's say that now they kind of get, the page that we're on and what we're talking about, and now you're starting to go out and you meet somebody, right? You meet somebody or you
Hmm.
see somebody and you're feeling those little butterflies. I've
Right.
warned them about the butterflies too, because sometimes we don't know if they're healthy or not. But
Right.
but what would you recommend, Aubrey, in order to make sure that this new friendship, relationship, whatever it's going to be, where two people are feeling their feelings, moves forward in a
Hmm.
healthy way? Like, what does that look like to you?
I feel like that it requires communication, first of all, communication and understanding, making sure that you guys are on the same page, and also
Like before you go home
it's,
together that night, or
you,
I'm
I mean,
joking.
I guess it
I'm
depends on the
joking.
context. Like if you're actually looking for a partnership, you
Yes.
know, I mean, I would probably, I mean, this is just my personal thing, maybe avoid being super intimate the first time, because like that's when the feelings really open. And I feel like it's so important for you to like understand a person first, like build a friendship, build a mutual understanding to make sure that that person is compatible with your wants, your needs, your desires. It's funny because I've actually had a few lesbian friends, and I kind of got like a picture of their their operation.
Oh,
Okay. So like
do
what I
tell.
noticed, yeah, like in my personal experience, like the patterns that they attracted, but I had two lesbian friends, what, back in I want to say probably like 2012 or something like that. And what I noticed with them is that they were so desperate for a partner that whomever they met, they immediately just kind of jumped into it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had one friend, she moved in with her partner within like just a couple of months, and then they married in less than a year. And it's funny because recently I connected to her, and they're divorced, so
We have a term for
and
those lesbians.
right.
Do you know what it is?
I think I've heard of it. What is it?
They're called U-Haul lesbians. Because
U-Haul
what does a
lesbians.
lesbian bring on the second date? A U-Haul.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Well, I heard that this is a common
it's
thing.
a thing.
Yeah.
We're two
Yeah,
women. We
like
bond very quickly. The emotions
right,
go real deep, real
right.
fast,
A
and we
lot of
talk and we talk and we
emotion.
go, "Oh my God, we have this in common. We have this in common." And
Yeah.
it happens very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, I know our emotions get the best of us because obviously we're romantic. We want that partnership. We want that intimacy. I had another lesbian friend too, because like I would do readings for her occasionally. She's like, when am I going to meet my person? And I told her like, okay, it's going to be like 5 months for now or whatever. And she would get she was viscerally upset to the point where she was like crying. She's like, but I want to meet her now. And I'm like, I don't have any control over
That's
this.
like 7 straight years, Aubrey.
Right.
5 months is an eternity.
Right. It's just like, girl, chill. You're
Hmm.
going to meet her when you meet her. And it was
Yeah.
the same thing when she actually met the person I was telling her about. Like, it went, because she also had a lot of inner trauma. Like
Hmm.
this girl, I hate to say, but she was a hot mess,
Yeah.
and it was very clear that she had a lot of inner work to do, but like she was just going through partner through partner through partner
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just never being happy and always saying, why does this keep happening to me? And it's like, girl, you got to work on yourself. You got to heal yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so important.
So important. I was joking, y'all, about going home with her that night. We don't do that. I mean, I have done that plenty in,
We've
2012.
all done that. We've all done that. Okay. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm
No
guilty of that
judgment. No
too.
judgment. But now here we are, and we would like a proper partner. So,
Yeah.
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 So, communication for sure. And I would
Hmm.
say stretch that out for quite some time. Like, I've been talking
Yeah.
about seeing people in their seasons, right? In the different seasons, and not just in the beginning, everybody shows up as their best self, but you want to see people show up when they're like, angry at somebody. You want to see them when they're
Hmm.
annoyed. Like, well, how do they respond? Are they calm? Do they blame other people? Do they accept responsibility for what's happening? And like,
Right.
I'm feeling like the next one. I mean, I know it's going to be hard, and I'm probably going to eat my words, but I would like to try to stretch things out so I can really see
Yeah.
someone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I get a good feeling about your next relationship.
Ooh,
Because like, well, I
thanks.
know that, because we've had a couple of readings about, I think you were dating the person, I think at the time when we were talking, and then you guys broke up. But, I think that that was such a pivotal relationship for you too. And it was painful, but like it got you to be much more aware of where you needed to adjust
Yes.
yourself and focus more on your healing journey.
Right.
And I feel like the people that take time after their last relationships to focus on themselves and their healing, they tend to attract better relationships the next time around.
Placing my order, Sienna. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Right? Come on, Santa. But it's true.
Yeah.
But like people that jump from relationship to relationship with no in between, they just attract the same person over and over again. And they're never happy.
Yeah, it's true. And I've been that person. And I've been that person who didn't give my partner time in between relationships and yanked her right
Mhm.
on in, you know? Because
Right,
you get
right.
impatient and you think you found somebody great and they got work to do.
Oh yeah.
Whew. Yeah, you know about that too, I know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Any other points you have there?
I also wanted to mention like I mean, I want to say like find your best friend. Find somebody that don't just settle for anyone, the next like hot woman or whatever. Like find somebody that you are compatible with. And again, take your time in getting to know them, understanding them, and again, making sure that your communication is on point because the number one key to a successful relationship is communication. Because I think the divorce rate these days, I'm just speaking for general people, but I think it's around 75% or so.
Is it really?
It's really high. Really,
Ooh,
in fact, the United States has one of the highest divorce rates in the world.
wow.
So
Not
that's because
surprising.
I mean, I'm sure there's like systemic issues that are behind that, but at the same time, a lot of people just settle with partners that aren't even good for them, just because they feel like they need somebody to complete them or make them whole. And that is where you really need to look at it because a person in your life isn't meant to make you whole. You are whole as yourself. And that's something that you really need to think about is that you are whole as you are. You
Yeah,
are
you, Jerry
complete as
Maguire.
you are.
Sorry. That
I mean,
movie
that's a
ruined
beautiful
us.
statement though. Like, you complete me.
Ugh,
You don't want to find somebody that completes you. You want somebody that complements you. You want somebody that brings balance to your life, that brings contrast to your life, that you could grow with, that you could heal with, that you can learn from. You know what I mean? You want
yeah,
a partner to be your support system, your best friend, your
yes,
cheerleader, but knowing also I am complete and whole as I am. I don't need a partner. I want one because it's nice.
yes.
It's because that person is going to balance me where I may falter, like add on to your strengths. You know what I mean? And I think that we need to really shift our approach and how we are dating and how we are attracting partners. Because again, a lot of people just want a partner because they feel lonely. They don't
Right.
feel complete,
That's right.
and it's like, no, dude.
Yeah,
You need to work on completing yourself. And when you do that, when you step into your wholeness, that's when you're going to attract the most ideal, healthy, ideal partner because that person is just going to mirror back to you your completeness,
that's
you
right.
know?
Because when you attract someone when you're coming from a place of loneliness, I feel
Mm-hmm.
that lonely, lonely, lonely. Here she shows up. All of a sudden, you've got someone
Mm-hmm.
here, but now it's like she's what's making you happy. Well, the minute she pulls away or the minute she does things that don't make you happy, it just rocks your whole
Mm-hmm.
world.
Yeah.
So it's so important and it's true. And each time I've met partners, significant partners, I feel like I've been at a place where I'm like starting to have fun again. I'm over my
Mm-hmm.
whatever breakup and I'm out there having fun and I'm with friends. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, that's where, your life changes in an instant because somebody enters.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that too, that you're radiating something other than just desperation, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that goes back to like the completeness too, because I think from like a psychological standpoint, if you know that you're complete and whole as you are less likely to pick partners that are toxic.
Yes.
You're going to psychologically start attracting people that are more kind of like, oh, you can compliment me.
Mm-hmm.
You could add something into my life that I don't already have
Yeah.
but you're not coming into my life to make me feel whole because I feel empty in some some way, and that partnership is going to be so much more healthier because both of you guys are going to come together and create balance and harmony, the yin and the yang,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you want. You want that yin and yang energy, the polarities to come through and just be a solid support system for one another. That is a true relationship. That's what
Yes.
I feel really called, and I have been lately, to like really, and I'm glad I'm doing this podcast because I really wanted to get that message out because again, I've been on this journey. I've been learning myself and I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to go. You're
Yeah.
supposed to love yourself, you
Right.
know?
Right. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? Yeah. The way that we
Hmm.
come around to learning that is through our
Yeah.
romantic relationships and what doesn't
Hmm.
work and how you feel. Even if you get into a new relationship and you're happy and you're finding that balance, like you can't expect your partner to fill every bucket for you, you know?
Exactly.
First of all,
Yeah.
they'd drive you crazy if they were around you all the time doing everything for you. But,
Yeah.
just that balance that you're talking about, I think that's so true, so
Exactly.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people just need to shift their approach on that because what I've noticed in these like dating communities or people that are talking about, you know, partnerships, it's come down to like, oh, well, what can you do for me?
Right.
And that
Yes.
is the wrong approach.
Yes. Agreed.
That is not the way we should be seeing relationships. Oh, what are you going to bring to the relationship? It's
Right.
like, bro,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
So to that point, if you've got to cut people loose, I mean, there comes a point where you just can't feel bad about that. You've got to look out for
Mhm.
your heart in these situations and not
Mhm.
feel bad and do it sooner rather than later, if you're dating someone,
Absolutely.
because it only gets harder, as we know, right? I mean,
Hmm.
if you stop suffering fools, you stop putting up with that bullshit. The more healing
Right?
work you do, really, because you've done a lot of work on yourself and now you're here and you're like, I'm not putting myself through that again. No, no, thank
Exactly.
you.
No,
So
no.
it's okay to start clipping people if you have to. I give you permission.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, you got to honor yourself first. I mean, first and foremost, you are important, you matter, you are valid. And if somebody is not honoring you and not respecting you and showing up in the way that you need and deserve, it's
yeah,
not worth holding on to. It really
exactly.
isn't.
And we
Yeah.
talked a bit about too, like that whole good girl programming and how that can show up, and just
Mhm.
enabling someone else to continue bad behavior. Well, and sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it until you're in over your head. But no, it's okay. You're not being selfish if someone is repeatedly hurting you. So,
Right. Right.
so really take a look at that if you're in a relationship like that.
Mhm.
Like, don't continue to stay in something like that. If it's hurting
Right.
you, you should
Yeah.
know the
Know
difference.
thy worth.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Know
Exactly.
thy worth. It
Yes,
is
I'm
important.
expensive.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
expensive.
expensive.
Gotta work for this.
Okay, now I have a couple of questions for you in a rapid fire. Are you up for that?
Let's go.
I just thought this would be fun. Okay, so rapid
All
fire,
right.
just whatever comes to mind quickly. Ready? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Mercury retrograde, love saboteur or great excuse?
Ooh, a little bit of both, I guess.
Crystals in your bra, power move or pokey mistake?
Pokey mistake.
Twin flames, cosmic or codependent?
Oh, well, true twin flames are cosmic. That's a whole other thing.
Yes. What's one sign that someone's not listening to their intuition on a date?
One sign?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
repeat
how
the
can you
question.
tell? How can you tell if you're listening to your
Okay.
intuition? Can you give an example of like, I'm putting you very much on the spot. I know.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, can you repeat the question?
You're like,
I was thinking
I'll take
astrological
lesbians for
at
20
first, so I
wink.
was like,
Turn the card, Vanna. Yeah, no. Just I guess the last one would be, how can you be sure you're listening to your intuition on a date?
yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's that gut feeling. There's that inner voice that tells you if something feels wrong or something feels right. And I feel like that's the most important thing to pay attention to. It's that strong gut feeling. And we all have it, you know. Pay attention to it.
I agree. I could not agree
Yeah.
more because I feel like oftentimes you'll get in those situations and you'll feel something and then you'll try to justify, well, but she's really a nice
Right.
person. She's really good. We're having
Right.
a good time otherwise. I don't know why she just said that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if something feels off, start to pay attention to
hmm
that and trust it, right?
Usually it's like anxiety. Usually you'll feel like a little hint of anxiety connected to it. But
Yes.
and that's the thing. If you find a person that's like really attractive and you're like, whoa, they're beautiful and they're funny and they're this and that, but your anxiety is like, oh, but what if?
Mm-hmm.
Probably something to pay attention to.
Yeah, those get away with a lot, I'm going to tell you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Stay away from. Don't always think that they're all that in a bag of chips,
Oh my
Like,
God. So, in your one on one sessions, let's talk about what you have to offer up to people. Because I
totally.
know, because I've done a few sessions with you, that I don't know what you're doing now, but I know in the past it's been very helpful. Y'all, you literally sit there and Aubrey just tunes in and she gives you what she feels for you and she can see things that you should pay attention that are these blocks that are coming up.
Absolutely.
But so, and it's great advice. So I highly recommend a session with you. So what are you
Yeah.
offering up to people these days? Do you have holiday specials or like what's on your plate?
Yeah, so I want to offer something very special to the listeners here. So what I'm offering is a 50% off first time session. So it's basically an introductory session. We would do a call. Basically, we would assess your blocks, find out, what could be interfering with your relationships or even life situations in general. I mean, I'm a very broad ranged. So whether it's your spiritual journey, your life journey, your romantic journey, we're able to kind of look into seeing what's blocking you, what we could do to help you move forward and start manifesting and calling in what you want and deserve. So their first session would be kind of like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what spirit is telling us, giving some advice and great feedback. And if you would like to continue to work with me, we could talk about packages and, moving forward from there and like really starting to kind of like go through a full healing process. So I'm happy to offer that to people, 50% off of the first session, and going from there if that's in alignment with you.
That's amazing. I love that
Yeah.
idea. And yeah, as you mentioned, it doesn't have to be romantic relationships. You could be having problems
hmm
with work or somebody at work
Right.
or
hmm
family. I mean, I've talked to you about oodles of stuff.
All
So
sorts of
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it could be any of that. That's great. So where can people find you then?
Well, the best place to reach me right now is on my Instagram page at its.your.universe. And you could always DM me, give me a follow, give me a shout, and then we could definitely start to arrange something if you so feel called.
Awesome. And I'll list your information in the show notes. So y'all look in the show notes to connect with Aubrey and click through to her Instagram page. And when you're reaching out to her, if you found her through this, mention your Southern Lesbian so she'll know where you came from.
Yes. Yeah. And then so that way you could get the discount.
If this resonates with any of you guys out there, or if once again we're just blowing into the wind and speaking, entertaining ourselves, basically. I don't think
Totally.
so. I don't think so. This is a crowd that understands what you're talking about. So I think
Yeah.
this will be great. Yeah. So everybody go out there and manifest Mrs. Right now for Christmas. And if you need a little extra help with that, you give Aubrey a shout.
Give me a shout.
Yeah. Aubrey, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah,
This was
thank
fun
you.
and a treat,
Yes.
as always, and a pleasure to see you.
Great seeing you too.
And thank you all for being here. I appreciate you so much. As always, leave us a comment. Let us know if this conversation resonated or if you think we're wackadoo. I don't think so.
Either or.
If you do, y'all know I have the power to block you, so just don't. No, but let us know your thoughts. I love hearing your feedback. I love hearing your comments on that. And say hi to Aubrey while you're on here. Check out the TikTok page. There's crazy conversations going on over there, and the community does connect a bit more on those pages in the comments for whatever, because it's TikTok. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Y'all have a good rest of your week. I'll see you later. Okay. Bye, y'all.
With a little bit of Carolina.
Just a reminder, y'all, I'm not a doctor. Everything I share here is for entertainment and encouragement, not medical advice. The views you hear are mine or my guests, not my sponsors. Any similarity to real people is purely coincidence.